Masturbation is one of the most controversial topics when it comes to men's health. Some people will tell you that it is unhealthy and causes all sorts of issues. Others will say that it is perfectly normal and healthy. The truth is somewhere in between. In this video, we will talk about 20 shocking reasons to stop masturbating immediately so you can have better control over your sexual desires and urges. Let's get started. Number 1. You are not alone. One of the most common misconceptions about masturbation is that it is something that only happens in pornography. This is not true. Masturbation is a very common activity that many people do on a regular basis. It is also important to remember that masturbation is not something that should be ashamed of. It is a natural and healthy way to explore your own body and sexuality. However, if you feel like you need to hide your masturbation from everyone around you, this could be a sign that you have developed an unhealthy relationship with it. If this is the case, it might be time to take a break from masturbating until you can develop a healthier relationship with it. 2. Overuse of pornography. Pornography has become so popular nowadays that it is often seen as the norm. But did you know that there are several negative effects associated with watching porn? These include reduced libido, erectile dysfunction, and even desensitization to sexual pleasure. This is because pornography can create unrealistic expectations for what sex should look like. When you watch porn, you see people who are professional actors engaging in sexual activity. They are using special lighting and camera angles to enhance their performance, and they are doing it for the sole purpose of providing sexual gratification for their audience. It is no wonder then that so many people have unrealistic expectations of sex. If you are struggling with these issues, it may be time to stop watching porn altogether. 3. Losing sleep. Have you ever masturbated when you didn't want to? It can happen to anyone, and it's not something to be ashamed of. However, if it's happening on a regular basis, it may be time to take a break from masturbating. When you lose self-control while masturbating, it means that you are not in charge of your own sexual urges. Your sexual urges are in charge of you. This is not a healthy situation to be in. You need to be able to control your own sexual urges, not the other way around. The best way to regain control is to take a break from masturbation. This will give you time to relax and focus on other things in your life. 4. Impact on relationships. It is important to note that masturbation does not necessarily have a negative impact on relationships. In fact, some couples actually enjoy watching their partners masturbate. However, if you feel like your masturbation habits are causing problems in your relationship, it may be time to take a break. If you are constantly fighting with your partner about masturbation, or if you feel guilty after masturbating, it is probably not good for your relationship. 5. Time management. When you masturbate, you are taking time away from other things in your life. This includes things like work, school, and spending time with loved ones. It is important to make sure that you are balancing your life properly and not spending too much time masturbating. If you feel like your masturbation habits are getting in the way of your responsibilities, it may be time to take a break. 6. Emotional connection. Masturbation can be a very intimate and emotional experience. It is a time for you to connect with your own body and sexuality. However, if you feel like you are becoming too attached to this experience, it may be time to take a break. If you find yourself masturbating every time you feel sad, lonely, or angry, it is probably not healthy. Masturbation should be a positive and enjoyable experience. If it is not, it may be time to seek professional help. 7. Physical health. There are some people who claim that masturbation can cause physical health problems. While there is no scientific evidence to support these claims, it is still important to listen to your body. If you feel like your masturbation habits are causing you physical pain or discomfort, it may be time to take a break. Pain or discomfort while masturbating could be a sign of an underlying physical health problem that needs to be addressed. 8. Lack of sleep. Masturbation can make you feel tired and sluggish. If you are struggling to get out of bed in the morning or feel like you are constantly exhausted, it may be time to cut back on masturbation. When you masturbate, your body releases a surge of hormones such as dopamine and oxytocin. These hormones can make you feel relaxed and sleepy. Too much relaxation and sleepiness can have negative consequences on other areas of your life. 9. Avoiding responsibilities. It is not uncommon for people to avoid their responsibilities from time to time. However, if you find yourself constantly avoiding your responsibilities due to your masturbation habits, it may be time to take a break. Masturbation can be a form of escapism. It allows you to escape from the stresses of everyday life and focus on your own sexual desires. If you are using masturbation as a way to avoid your responsibilities, it is important to address the underlying issues that are causing you to feel overwhelmed. 10. Low self. Masturbation can sometimes be used as a way to boost self. It can be an affirmation of one's own body and sexuality. However, if you find that you are constantly needing to masturbate in order to feel good about yourself, it may be time to take a break. When you are constantly focusing on your own sexual needs, you are not leaving room for other important aspects of your life. This can lead to feelings of emptiness and dissatisfaction. 11. Negative thoughts. Masturbation can bring up a lot of emotions, both positive and negative. If you find that you are having more negative thoughts than positive thoughts while masturbating, it may be time to take a break. Negative thoughts can include anything from feelings of guilt or shame to intrusive thoughts of harming yourself or others. 12. Forgetfulness. Masturbation can cause you to forget things easily. This is due to the release of certain hormones that affect your memory. If you find that you are constantly forgetting appointments, tasks, or other important information, it may be time to cut back on masturbation. 13. Impulsive behavior. Masturbation can cause you to act out in impulsive ways. This can include things like spending large amounts of money on things you don't need, getting into fights, or having unprotected sex. 14. Mood swings. Masturbation can cause your emotions to go up and down like a roller coaster. This is due to the release of hormones such as dopamine and oxytocin. If you find yourself feeling extremely happy one minute and extremely sad the next, it may be time to take a break from masturbation. 15. Loss of interest in hobbies. Masturbation can cause you to lose interest in the things that you once enjoyed. This can include hobbies like playing sports, playing an instrument, or painting. If you find that you are spending less time on the hobbies that you once loved, it may be time to cut back on masturbation. 16. Poor performance at work or school. Masturbation can cause you to be lazy and unmotivated, which can lead to poor performance at work or school. If you find yourself constantly turning in low-quality work or missing assignments, it may be time to take a break from masturbation. 17. Social withdrawal. Masturbation can cause you to withdraw from social situations. This is due to the release of the hormone oxytocin, which makes you feel relaxed and content. If you find that you are spending less time with friends and family and more time alone masturbating, it may be time to take a break. 18. Substance abuse. Masturbation can cause you to abuse substances like alcohol and drugs. This is because the release of certain hormones during masturbation can create a feeling of euphoria. If you find that you are using substances more frequently, it may be time to take a break from masturbation. 19. Eating disorders. Masturbation can contribute to eating disorders. This is because the release of certain hormones during masturbation can affect your appetite. If you find that you are constantly overeating or undereating, it may be time to cut back on masturbation. 20. Suicidal thoughts. If you are experiencing suicidal thoughts, it is important to seek professional help. Masturbation can sometimes worsen suicidal thoughts, so it is important to be aware of this if you are already struggling with these thoughts. In conclusion, masturbation can be a healthy and enjoyable experience, but it is important to be aware of the potential downsides. By following the tips outlined in this video, you can help ensure that your masturbation habits remain healthy and do not negatively impact your life. Remember, everything in moderation. If you think that you may have a problem with masturbation, please reach out to a qualified mental health professional for help. Thanks for watching.